Local emergency organizations join with foreign military to prepare a national approach to tropical depression Grace. A Dominican based in New York raises $19,000 for communities impacted by Tropical Storm Erika, and generous donors help make going back to school a little easier for students affected by Tropical Storm Erika. I am Edona Baptiste with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up.
Homework, research, school-based assessments. Visit the Muslim store today and give your child the tools that they need to succeed. Tablets as low as $399.99, laptops starting at $16.95, or get a complete package including a desktop computer with camera, speakers, table and chair. So don't let your child's education suffer. Come down to the Bayfront Roseau and check out these incredible prices only at the Muslim store. Locally born, locally grown.
Do you need cash now? Then the National Cooperative Credit Union is the way to go. Get up to $8,000 right now with a now for now loan. Go to our website at nccudominica.com for details and apply for a now for now loan at any NCCU branch to get your cash right now.
Whenever a bottle of Major Brandy is opened, you get 3 wishes granted. First, your wish that you can rely on your favorite drink to have that great taste each and every time will come true. Second, your wish that your favorite drink would always be available at your favorite bar in Dominica will be granted. Your third wish that the price would be so low that you can buy that special someone around without feeling a pinch in your pocket. 3 reasons to make Major Brandy your #1 choice.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Create your sweet retreat with bed frames, bedroom furniture, and mattresses from Quartz. Shop today and get free gifts with the purchase of mattresses. Plus, enjoy huge savings on bedroom combos and mattresses, and pay absolutely nothing for 60 days when you shop with Quartz Ready Finance. You can support a charitable organization with your purchase. We will donate a percentage of each bedding sale to a worthy cause. So the ultimate retreat can be yours with the best in bedroom furniture and mattresses. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
First up, the Ministry of Education has had to change the date for the opening of school due to expected weather conditions.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development announces the postponement of the reopening of secondary schools to Monday, 14th September 2015, due to forecasted inclement weather associated with 2 tropical systems in the upcoming days. A tropical wave is expected to produce rain across the island on Wednesday, while a weakened tropical storm Grace, now a tropical depression, is expected to bring rains by Friday. Therefore, schools, primary and secondary, will reopen on Monday, September 14, 2015, with the exception of the Pichelin Primary School, Dalis Primary School, Jones Beaupierre Primary School, Coulibistry Primary School, Colliho Primary School, and the Roseau Primary School, which will remain closed until further notice. The Ministry of Education has made arrangements to provide water where there is still no pipe-borne water and therefore solicits the support of the general public in ensuring that this objective is realized. I wish to state that the safety and security of our students and staff is paramount. Therefore, we thank all for working with us as we continue to provide updates in the days ahead.
The Education Minister addressed the media on Tuesday. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Response Agencies are organizing a national approach as Tropical Depression Grace heads for the Lesser Antilles. The weather system, which formed as a tropical storm on Saturday off the coast of Africa, is moving west towards the Atlantic. Forecasters say it is weakening and as of 11 a.m. on Tuesday was downgraded to a tropical depression. Grace is forecast to weaken further before reaching the Lesser Antilles late this week. It's expected to affect Dominica on Friday. The National Emergency Planning Organization, including the Met Services, Police Force, and Foreign Military, met on Tuesday afternoon in light of the approaching thunderstorm.
And we're going to strategize on how do we prepare for Grace, but more importantly, how do we get people that we think would be in the flood path, given the fact that the soils are saturated, the river banks and river defensive systems have been compromised. So we have to look at a comprehensive effort at probably moving people, depending on what we see this afternoon into tomorrow, to safer areas. So we'll have to identify probably shelters or temporary holding areas to move people away from floodplain areas.
Corriette says there is need to build more resilience against such disasters.
That's why we have always stressed that people at the community level should always be involved in their disaster preparedness committees. And we have been doing that for the last 5-10 years, trying to heighten and build capacity at the community level precisely for that kind of event. And unfortunately to say, we have not got much success. Most of the communities do not have an active disaster committee, and we have been preaching, going to meetings, trying to mobilize. That's not to blame anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. Just to say that we have to build capacity for events like that.
In response to criticism about what the public perceived to be a lack of awareness about Tropical Storm Erika, Corriette says the website of the Weather Service published information and his office also disseminated information about the storm.
The fact of the matter is that Dominica was nowhere under watch or warning. I think the system did the same thing that Ophelia did to Dominica a few years ago. We were not under watch, we were not under warning. A similar thing happened to Erika, in that Erika was 100+ miles east of Dominica, northeast of Dominica, traveling further away from Dominica. A broke-off band, apparently that's what gave us that amount of water. In 6 hours we got over 10 inches of water. In retrospect, given the amount of water that we received in such a short space of time, I mean, warnings would have probably abated some of the loss. But that kind of flash flooding, that kind of rainfall is at the mercies of the Almighty.
A former local news reporter living in the U.S. has raised $19,000 to aid with relief in the wake of Tropical Storm Erika. 9 communities and 5 groups and non-governmental organizations will benefit from the donation by Felix Augustine Jr. Augustine, who worked as a newscaster at the Government Information Service, now lives in New York. On Tuesday, a check handing over ceremony was held at the Fort Young Hotel. While Augustine is not on island, we were able to make contact with him about his undertaking.
I want to extend my deepest sympathies to those who have lost loved ones. I especially want to reach out to the community of Petit-Savan, where the death toll was particularly brutal to our small island. Petit-Savan is also the neighboring community where I'm from and where my dad is from, and so I share a particular affinity to it. First off, I want to thank the hundreds of Dominicans, practical strangers and friends of the Dominican community who have dug deep into their pockets to make this money possible. It did not take me very long after the rain started to fall on the 27th and the report started to hit my phone that doing something like this was going to be a necessity. I must say that I am heartened by the enormous outpouring of friends and fans who reached out and immediately started to support my cause, even at that early hour. I strongly believe we will be stronger, and I strongly believe that we will rise again.
Cecil Shillingford is responsible for disbursing the funds locally on behalf of Augustine.
I discussed with him in terms of the distribution and how it was going to go. And we agreed that, of course, the affected communities would directly get the lion's share of the monies that were raised. And of the $19,000 US, about $15,000 is going to the affected communities.
The communities receiving funds are on a list declared special disaster and critical areas by the Office of Disaster Management.
Petit Savan, top on the list, Pichelin, Good Hope, Baptiste, the Dead End, Paradise Valley area, Jubic, Campbell, Coulibistry, Saint-Sauveur, and the Petit Soufrière. Then he said that the balance of the money, we should try to work with some of the organizations that are providing support to these people. And of course, he being a media person, he wanted to assist the media in whatever it is doing for the cause. And we agreed on a couple other organizations, like the Rotary Club, of course the Media Workers Association, the cadets who are assisting here and there.
The Grotto Home for the Homeless is also a recipient of funds since Augustine wanted to assist the elderly at that establishment. In more news, a special task force has been assembled to chart the way forward for Dominica following the passage of Tropical Storm Erika. Andrea Louis has that story.
The announcement was made by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit on Monday night. On 27th August, Tropical Storm Erika battered Dominica, leaving infrastructural damage of almost $1 billion. The task force consists of Dominicans from varying fields and disciplines with different areas of expertise.
This group shall bring together tried, tested, and proven Dominicans who have the skills, vision, and experience to advise the government on the way forward. It is my pleasure to report to you that they have all readily agreed to serve and are about to get down to the task assigned.
The National Reconstruction Task Force will assist and advise on mapping the way forward for the social and economic progress of Dominica.
This group of eminent Dominicans shall be led by former President, His Excellency Edward Williams, Colin Bully, former Director of OECS EDU, retired Cabinet Secretary and Attorney at Law, Julian Johnson, Alec Lazar, former Financial Secretary, former Government Minister and businessman Ivo Nassif, prominent businessman Gary Ed, Attorney at Law, Senior Counsel Alec Lawrence, Gregory Shillingford, former CEO of West Indies Cricket Board and agronomist, consultant and economist Dr. Valda Henry, chartered engineer and businessman Anthony Burnett Biscom, Ambassador Edward Lambert, with banker Mary-Therese Johnson serving as secretary of the group.
Dominicans have been warned to prepare for the onset of bad weather predicted for later this week.
The word of caution came from Prime Minister Skerrit during an address to the nation Monday night. A tropical wave is expected to affect the island on Wednesday, while Tropical Storm Grace, which is expected to deteriorate to a tropical wave, is predicted to affect Dominica on Friday.
Over the last 2 days, Grace has continued on a general westward motion toward the Lesser Antilles, with maximum sustained winds peaking near 50 miles per hour on Sunday. Advisory issued by the National Hurricane Center, NHC, on the storm indicated slight weakening of the storm to 45 miles per hour. However, The focus track of Grace maintains a center located just north of Dominica on Friday 11 September 2015, either as a weak storm or tropical wave.
Dominicans are urged to not let their guards down despite the prediction of a weakened weather system.
Regardless of this weakening, and this is what I want you to listen to very carefully, my dear people. The current projection is for an increase in shower and thunderstorm activity, which could be heavy at times across Dominica on Friday, with the possibility of flash flooding. Additionally, a tropical wave is expected to produce some unstable conditions this Wednesday, estimating rainfall amounts of 15 millimeters to 20 millimeters across Dominica. That's slightly less than an inch of rainfall.
The Prime Minister's call for vigilance comes following the devastating effects of Tropical Storm Erika on Dominica on 27th August.
Under normal circumstances, an inch of rain on Wednesday would be a windfall to farmers and seacraft users. But on this occasion, it spells trouble for residents of several communities across Dominica. The earth is saturated and will not easily absorb an inch of rain.
Skerritt called on Dominicans to refrain from impractical behavior during the passage of the weather systems.
Now is not the time for daredevil maneuvers. We have been given adequate warning of the likelihood of torrential showers and flash flooding, and we all must pay heed. I know it will be difficult, and I know it will be uncomfortable for many, but we're all one people, and we have got to batten down and see this period of trial and adversity through. If you know you're living in areas that are susceptible to flooding, or you are in the path of busted riverbanks and watercourses, I am urging you from now to consider a shelter or bunking with a relative or friend elsewhere during the upcoming days of anticipated bad weather. It is better to be safe than sorry.
Road users were also asked to play their part in ensuring public safety.
We ask for motorists to be diligent and report any changes they see to the road surfaces. Our engineers and consultants have taken steps towards repairing and stabilizing the affected areas, but this work takes time and is very hazardous.
Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Still on the aftermath of Storm Erika, a Dutch Navy ship has joined teams of forces already here to provide support in recovery efforts after the devastation. The Netherlands Defense Force in the Caribbean, headquartered in Curaçao, arrived on the Pelican Sunday morning.
What we are actually doing now is that all the Marines, about 45 of them, including the Yoruban militia people, they moved down south to the southeast. So they're now working in the area of Bacatel and Pichelin in order to do a damage assessment. And we moved the engineers of the Netherlands Army, we moved them down south as well, to make an appreciation of the roads and the bridge, Geneva Bridge. That assessment has been done, and we're now looking at providing support in that area, including the cleaning of a school in Pichelin.
The Navy ship also carried a helicopter from the Coast Guard in Curaçao to assist in the evacuation and relocation of some 24 students from Delis, Bagatelle, and Grand Bay.
The first day when they came here, they already evacuated a local man who died, 101-year-old, and evacuated that old man from there to the airport as well. So I think the assistance of the helicopter is crucial, because especially tomorrow some units will leave, and that will be the only helicopter available, just to make sure these areas in the southeast will get the support they needed.
Major Clemens Buter revealed that they also have a team at the Douglas Charles Airport to ensure it is ready for commercial flights by weekend or next week.
Last thing, we have 2 big boats, and they will support the Coast Guard by providing support in the southeast area to bring water supplies and also to evacuate people. And they will start patrolling with the Coast Guard of Dominica with all kinds of taskings in support of your country. With the Red Cross from Dominica, we will start a water distribution plan for the whole island, because we brought also some big trucks and some other vehicles, so we can move large amounts of water to all the areas which are affected by the Hurricane Erika.
The next-door neighbors of Hillary Regis, who recently died in a landslide, credits God's graces to their lives being spared that early Thursday morning. More from Lorian Graham Carter.
Children Baptiste lived just a step away from Regis, but they heard nothing. At the time, their 4 grandsons were with them. They heard a rumble and felt a jolt, which they believed to be an earthquake. But that was the impact of Regis' house slamming into his brother's house. It was then they felt an urgency to leave their house.
But we didn't know. So we still lay on the bed singing, and then Frank, our neighbor, come up and tell us, but all you're not watching outside. I said, but what happened? Then my husband goes and he watches and said, come and see what happened. We didn't know. The first slide we didn't know. So what I did, I ran by my sister. And then I had the boys, I took the boys, I tell them, put off your shoe. Leave the shoes, don't take shoe, and let's go. And we moved for the other side by my sister. This slide didn't come down yet. And I took the 4 boys under the rain. We crossed the big drain. The drain was heavy with water. I took 2 umbrellas. I gave the 2 of them one, and I held one, a bigger one, with 2 boys, 4 boys, grandchildren. And I went by my sister. While we were by my sister, I tell my sister, well, give them some bread and tea for me, please. She gave them bread and tea, and they were on the table taking the bread and the tea. And while I had a push come in by my sister's door. I had one push. I said, but who want to push the door? Who pushing the door to come in? What a slide. Big slide came inside the house, and time to watch, you see that slide burst out. And it burst this way, it come this way, and I run up. I took the 4 boys, and I went up the road, and I go down the road, I walked down, and I entered the gasoline station with them.
She says they are thankful to God for sparing them.
If that slide had to fall, we were not in it, because we don't know. We didn't know. And God protect us, and we are happy.
The family does not intend on staying at the house because they fear another landslide could happen in their backyard. In a related matter, last night we identified the brother of deceased Hillary Regis as Jerome Regis, but we have since learned that his real name is Goddard Rodney.
You're watching Channel 5 News. More international countries come to Dominica's aid. That and other stories when we return.
Ozone. Use ozone. 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 Never done till the dirt is gone. Ozone.
It's movies, entertainment, sports, news, travel, cuisine, and arts. Pink TV is here. With over 80 great channels to choose from to satisfy your entertainment needs no matter what. Watch all your pay-per-view programs with ease. Tier services included Fox Soccer Plus, Speed TV, and Tennis. Watch quality local programming like the Channel 5 News and Ion Sports, all from the comfort of your home in full digital and HD. The thrill, the scare, and the emotion. Marpin 2k4 Pink TV, bringing value home because life is better with Marpin.
Dating a minor is unacceptable.
Having sex with a minor is unacceptable.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
At Quartz, it's the biggest mattress clearance event of the year. We're making room for all new models. So, for a limited time, purchase any mattress, base, or divan and get a second one half price. Everything must go. So, head down to Quartz now and take advantage of the biggest mattress clearance event of the year with nothing down and nothing to pay for 90 days. Only at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Thanks for staying with us. Businesswoman Melissa Popon-Skerrit has donated school items to children who will be starting the new school year later this month.
At a presentation ceremony Monday afternoon, Mrs. Skerrit said this was to help children prepare for school as they recuperate from the effects of Tropical Storm Erika. The tropical storm triggered several floods and landslides, damaging the road network.
These packages contain items such as school bags, scientific calculators, geometry kits, markers, and so on. Today, scholarships will also be given out to some students.
Skerrit acknowledged the assistance from numerous donors, which will help to make going back to school easier for some children.
I continue to be humbled by the generosity of our community and our valuable donors of the Adopt a Child Back to School program. Thank you for taking up the challenge to empower our underprivileged students. Having school supplies and fees paid prepares them for a successful school year and boosts their self-esteem and confidence.
Parents were advised to be more involved in their children's lives.
We as parents need to engage in instilling a sense of excellence in our children. We need to value the importance of setting goals with our children, setting high standards and ensuring that they are achieved. This cannot be done by just stating our expectations. We have to turn off the television set, put away the video games, set study times, enforce house rules, inspect their books, and build a good rapport with them, their school, and as well as their friends.
Children were also encouraged to make the best use of their school experience.
You have to be active learners. Pay attention to your teachers. Listen to your parents, your grandparents, and other adults. Show up to school on time and put in the hard work that it takes to succeed.
More than 1,000 children from preschool to college level have benefited from this donation.
Governor of the United States Virgin Islands, USVI, has pledged full support to Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and the people of Dominica.
Governor Kenneth Mapp, at a press conference in that territory, solicited support from the Virgin Islands for Dominicans affected by Tropical Storm Erika. A 40-foot container of relief supplies has been shipped to Dominica on Friday, and that support is expected to continue for as long as needed. Citizens of the USVI could also donate financially.
Those that wish to give monetary donations, which 100% of those donations will be wired to the government of Dominica, can do so through the Community Foundation of St. Thomas, with a check written out to the Community Foundation of St. Thomas, and in the memo, the Community Foundation of the VI, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, CFVI, correct? Yes. The Community Foundation, I apologize for that. The Community Foundation of the VI, and in the memo section of the money order or the check, please inscribe the words Dominica Relief.
Director of Communications Kimberly Jones gave some guidance to those wishing to donate financially through different media.
The Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands has opened their website. You can make a donation via their PayPal right on their website. You can go to cfvi.net. There is an icon there for you to use. And then also you can do credit card donations via their website also. Please, this is an ongoing effort. This is not something that is going to be have a solution today or tomorrow, and that's something that the governor has made clear.
To donate electronically, do so at www.cfvi.net/donate. The governor had a message for people donating clothing items to the Dominican relief effort.
We're asking you to give, we're asking you to be generous, but if you don't have it to give, don't take up something that no one could use and give it to them. It makes very little sense for us to send relief supplies to a country, send clothing to a country that someone takes out of a box, and it is worse than the condition than the clothes they have been wearing for the last 10 days. Give, but give what, if you were in a disaster and someone was giving to you that you wanted to get some relief and help, look at that item and say, I would wear this in a disaster.
U.S. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett envisions that help brought to Dominica will grow the economy and the people after the passing of Storm Erika. Prime Minister Skerritt met with a delegation from the U.S. Virgin Islands on Sunday to discuss Erika's impact on the island.
The hearts and minds of the Virgin Island citizens are with our fellow Dominican brothers and sisters here in the Caribbean, and we wanted him to know that that comes from the highest level of government, from our Governor Kenneth Mapp, myself, the Member of Congress for the Virgin Islands, Stacey Plaskett, as well as from our legislature. We have the majority leader of the legislature here, as well as private sector, Dr. Jolie, and Singapore Rescue, our Rotary, everyone who was here, representatives of the governor, Shelley Moorhead, and others were here to lend that support.
Congresswoman Plaskett says they are grateful for the opportunity to be part of the unity seen among Dominicans following the storm.
We understood about the need for building materials, relocation, trauma support, medical support, and we're trying to do what we can. Representatives of the Dominicans United in St. Croix and St. Thomas were also present. They are bringing immediate relief efforts through containers that have already been filled and on their way being shipped down here to Dominica, but we also want a second wave of what's necessary. We're trying to connect with Home Depot, as well as local agencies and the federal government to lend the help that's necessary for the long-term development.
Plaskett pledges the U.S. territory's long-term commitment to get Dominica through the tragedy caused by the disaster. She says her next step is to meet with other members of Congress, particularly those who represent the Caribbean community.
We are going to be coordinating what efforts we can to provide technical support, to provide assistance from the U.S. government. We know USAID is already here on the ground, but how they can become a much larger force for development, and really to send the message to the United States Congress that this was in fact a tremendous tragedy, that climate change is already showing its immediate effect on communities throughout the world, and particularly in the Caribbean, and that much more attention needs to be placed on it.
The Bahamas Foreign Minister has pledged additional support for Dominica's relief efforts. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt welcomed a delegation from the Bahamas Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Immigration offering support to Dominica. The government of Bahamas will be providing a grant for the post-Erika disaster relief.
We want to be sure that the people of Dominica know that we're thinking about them. We are, very saddened by the loss of so many lives, and we pray that they rest in peace. That the future of rebuilding is able to go ahead, and that you get the resources which are required. And we will do our bit to help and support both in cash and kind.
Mitchell says Dominicans in the Bahamas have teamed up with the Rotary Club there to raise funds to provide support in addition to the Bahamas government's effort. And finally, there is no doubt that the road to recovery for hundreds of Petit-Savan residents evacuated from their community will not be easy. However, a councillor says those in their mid-20s to 40s will likely bounce back quicker. Assistant Chief Welfare Officer Oliver Wallace is among the professionals who have been offering advice to help the storm victims cope after the disaster which occurred 11 days ago.
What we have been doing primarily is to meet with individuals or, if possible, families to do individual counseling or family counseling to help the people to just vent a bit, talk about the issues we give them a chance to basically say what they saw and try to gather some key themes as to what has this disaster done to them, what have they learned from it. When today you had all that you had, and tomorrow you wake up, you don't have anything. This here, you must find a way to cope with it. And this is one of the key areas that we're working with the people.
Walde says since children understand trauma and crisis differently, their recovery time will not be as easy.
On the surface, if you look, you might think the children are bouncing back faster, but because children process things differently, we can tell you definitely the children are not bouncing back faster. The adults, because they have a greater sense of understanding, primarily the middle-aged people, okay, anywhere from the mid-20s to the mid-40s, will recover a little faster. The aged, when they think back, for example, the retirees, all that they worked for, they had to leave it, see it disappear before their very eyes. And these folks, it's a little more difficult for them.
Many people have volunteered to help the residents of Petit-Savan on their journey to recovery. For Craig Edmond, it's the first time he's volunteering at such a level.
I thought it was necessary for me to come and give a little help, assistance with the people of the Petit-Savan area, and something for myself personally as for national development, to get them back on their feet. I don't want people to think that the people are, they down on their luck or everything. I think the people are really bouncing back generally, slowly, I mean, supplies are coming in to help in the assistance of, rationing, food and water and this type of thing, clothing, and I would encourage everybody to keep it coming, so then we can get everybody back to their normal lives. If you have to sweep the floor for them, we'll do that. If you have to carry a load from one point to the other, we have to do that. If someone comes with a vehicle with goods, we'll offload it and arrange it the way it rightfully has to go. Everybody gives their little input to help with the coordination of everything, from the security guard at the gate to the lady who announces the names or family, or somebody brings something for you, that kind of thing.
This man, who has no family connection to Petit-Savan, says he has heeded the Prime Minister's call for all hands to be on deck.
The Prime Minister was talking in terms of the press conference, and then he talked about we need some more help, and then he gave a phone number, and I actually mark it down, and I called, and then they called me about 2 days ago. We are helping in all directions. If somebody comes to donate anything in terms of dry goods, we offer them to the office, and then they take their names, and then we bring in them in the storeroom. And in terms of the clothes, they do the same thing. In terms of the food section, they absolutely do the same thing. I also want to commend Ms. Dura, because she's in charge of this section, and the staffs, and she's doing a very good job. Everybody's working.
With effects of a tropical wave predicted for Wednesday, it's time for your weather report.
The weather is brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. It was another hot and sunny day on the island as a few low-level clouds moved across the area and temperatures peaked up to 33 degrees Celsius at the Canefield Airport. Meanwhile, on today's satellite imagery, we continue to observe a tropical wave which will begin to affect the southern portion of the island chain by tomorrow. And further off in the central Atlantic is Tropical Depression Grace. At 5 p.m., Tropical Depression Grace was located near 14.4 degrees north, 44.2 degrees west, or about 1,145 miles east of the Les Antilles. Tropical Depression Grace is moving towards the west near 18 miles per hour, with maximum sustained winds near 35 miles per hour. On its present track, Tropical Depression Grace is expected to move across the leewards on early Friday. Residents, you are asked to continue to monitor the progress of the system, as instability associated with it should begin to affect the island on Friday. We'll now move on to today's radar imagery, which indicated a few scattered showers mainly across the southern portion of the Antilles. Tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with a few scattered showers. And tomorrow, a slight increase in cloudiness and scattered showers is expected. Sea conditions tomorrow, moderate in open water, with waves expected to pick up to 7 feet. And looking ahead, Occasional cloudy skies with scattered showers can be expected Wednesday into Thursday, with thunderstorm and shower activity on Friday. And across the Lesser Antilles tomorrow, thunderstorm and shower activity are expected across the southern portion of the island chain as the tropical wave begins to affect that area. Meanwhile, occasional cloudy skies and scattered showers can be expected across the remainder of the islands. And on the international scene tomorrow, sunny conditions can be expected in New York and Caracas, with mostly cloudy skies in Miami and London, and overcast skies in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:53 a.m. and will set at 6:12 p.m. For further information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a good night.
How do I look, Mommy?
Perfect. When you've been here, you know what's important. Protect it with Sagicor. Wise financial thinking for life.
That's news to end the news. The headlines again. Local emergency organizations join with foreign military to prepare a national approach to Tropical Depression Grace. A Dominican based in New York raises $19,000 for communities impacted by Tropical Storm Erika, and generous donors help make going back to school a little easier for students affected by Tropical Storm Erika. Feel free to send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Edona to Baptiste. Thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow.